Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for Ham Nation is provided by CashFly at CACHEFLY.com.
This episode of Ham Nation is brought to you by FreshBooks, the ridiculously easy-to-use cloud accounting software used by over 10 million people. Try it free for 30 days at freshbooks.com/hamnation. By DX Engineering. DX Engineering offers practically everything you need to outfit your shack, plus the fastest shipping in the industry. Most in-stock items ship the same day, Monday through Friday until 10 p.m. Eastern. For more information, visit dxengineering.com/hamnation. And by ICOM. For more information, visit icomamerica.com/hamnation.
This is Ham Nation, episode 306 for June 28th, 2017. The complete preamp.
Good evening, everybody. It's Bob Heil, K9EID, and just back from field day. I got all the ticks off of me, I think. I got a couple of big bites I'm still working on. Boy. But do we have a great time or what? Gordo's got some stuff, and I think everybody's going to play some stuff tonight. Dale's got some really nice field day stuff. But I had a good time. I went down to Branson, Missouri, and had a really good time with the Tri-County Club and then with the SMARC here, and we just had a good time. So let's see who all's here. First of all, let's see. Don, you're here, aren't you? Don Wilbanks.
I am. I did not get to do anything at all for field day, and I'm kind of disappointed in that, but that's okay because there are a couple of big, at least one really big and another very interesting special event going on this weekend, and I will tell you about that when we talk about news with Newsline. It's going to be a good weekend to be on the radio, Bob.
Okay, we're ready. We're ready. And George, how did you do? Did you go out this weekend?
Well, I stayed in, Bob, but I did field day. The weather, we had a tropical storm come through, so it was just too wet for us to go camp out and do it this year. So we did it from the shack here, but we used emergency generators and did things a little bit differently. I'll just hit a few points of it a little later on. And then we've got a good video from Randy tonight on, an accessory for the Pine Board project that he's been working on.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I got to see a little of that. Well, I'm glad you got a little time in. I got time when I come back from running around here all day on 6 meters because that was good. But I'll tell you the guy that had it going on, and that's a guy out there in Costa Mesa. Gordon West, how you doing? And did you have fun? Of course you did.
We did. We had a great time, Bob, at field day. The band on the higher bands were not skywaving, but that's why I'm wearing the shirt. We went all the way to Hawaii with reception on the 2-meter band, thanks to tropospheric ducting. One of our highlights at field day was the brand new frequency chart. And Bob, we're going to make this chart available free in quantities to club members that'll send me 15 first-class stamps, and I'll provide the priority mail envelope, and we'll send you 20 or 30 of these band charts absolutely free. They were a big hit at field day. Bob, back to you.
Oh, super. Well, that sounds like lots of fun. Yes. Well, my whole thing is this week, I am so excited. I worked many hours, several days, working on the Pine Board thing, and we're really making some headway. Wait till you hear. We're going to play some things tonight. But before I get back to you, Gordo, I want to play a couple of things for you. I tell you each week, I get so many emails from the guys and gals that are building, but now they're starting to send me pictures. of some of their wares, and I'm so excited for them because they're excited. Here's one from KE0EFW. He did a really nice job building the power supply, and you just don't realize how this is helping a lot of people learn to do things. And here's his preamp, and he did a really nice job on that one. So I appreciate all these pictures, and everybody's doing great jobs. But here you go, Gordo. This is our friend Virginia. She's all ready to go, man. She's going out shopping, and not shopping for clothes. She's shopping for parts, and I really am proud of what they're doing down in Texas. So she's getting ready to go. I got to show you this. I talk about him every week. I've had a couple of people talk about. Here's the guy. This is the guy that we blame all this on. This is our friend Richard, W0BVT. He's a retired broadcast engineer, like somebody else we know kind of close here. He just loves building, and he can't get it out of his blood. And it was Richard that gave me the incentive to come up and build the Pine Board Project, because he's on our morning group, and he's always running something different, but it's all built on Pine Board, and it's just so much great fun. So I just thought I'd let you see what's going on with all this. So I come back, get set, because it's probably going to be the most exciting 10 minutes of the Pine Board for you. It's really something what happened this week. So we'll play you some things. But first, we've got better things to do back out in Costa Mesa. So let's see what you did for Field Day. Gordo, take it away.
All right. Well, beside hearing Hawaii coming in 2,500 miles away, I'm very happy to report that the Central VHF group is going to be coming to Albuquerque, New Mexico for their conference. And next week, we'll give you all the details. But let's take a look at Field Day up in the mountains in Southern California. And I think you'll find this interesting. And thanks to Tracy for these great shots that he's acquired. So, Brian, if you want to go ahead and beam us up. This was the MTARA, the Mountaintop Amateur Radio Association, and that's did audit. They were up at 5,000 feet plus, putting up Field Day antennas. Here they're using the G5RV, and that's Dave and Rick and Tracy and Professor Steve putting it all together. And the G5RV, like off-center fed Wyndham antennas, were great performers for many Field Day stations. Here they are powering up the generator. Oh, wow, what a job. But they did it safely, and they got it going. At our Field Day down on the flatlands in Costa Mesa, we use the Bio-Inno batteries. And I have one here that I'll show in just a moment that we played for 3 days, not realizing it was not in the charging system, and it was still going strong. And thanks to Kevin of Bio-Inno for the batteries, it kept our Field Day humming, but without a generator. But generators are good, no question about it. That's John KK6 PTO, the club president of MTARA, and that's DN6DEE. And notice that they're all in uniform. They got the ARRL pins. That adds camaraderie to Field Day operations. There's Linda, Dee, and Jody, and the ladies are getting ready. They are the welcoming crew, and that's so important for anyone that comes onto a Field Day site that might not know who or where, but they're welcomed aboard, and they sign in. Looks like they even get some raffle tickets as well. Very, very positive for ham radio to show off Field Day. Well, thanks to Paula, KK6LWW, food keeps Field Day humming. And, of course, with all the great cooking, the Field Day operators were there chowing down before they got on the air for their morning 11 o'clock send-off. Well, what's field day without kids? And the kids came all the way up from the flatlands, up 5,000 feet. And these were 20 Sea Cadets and chaperones drove all the way up to field day. And, you know, field day is special for scouts, for kids. And in Costa Mesa, we had one fellow in a wheelchair, and he was just one of the greatest field day operators around. He was a licensed ham, and he really made things happen. So it's good to bring in outside resources for field day. Well, it takes a lot to impress kids. And here they're tuned in to the Automatic Packet Reporting System, APRS, and they're checking their positions and those all around them. And they were captivated with how modern ham radio could be and how interesting for kids. And this young lady, well, she was into tapping out a little bit of CW. And over 50 people got a hand to get onto the CW key and to send their name both in CW as well as say their name phonetically. And that's great. We need more kids, and we need more folks learning CW. Now there's Tina, W6TNA, an examiner as well as a LMRS teaching. And the adults had just as much fun with the code and phonetics as the kids. Thanks, Tina. The high-frequency station was a real treat for the Sea Scouts because they all learned about high-frequency skywaves, and the bands on the lower bands, 20 and 40 and 75, were really hopping, and they were using the club's call sign to stay in touch. And that's Vic, KK6WKI, keeping everything going. And the kids, as you can see, were quite tuned in. The kids were operating, and the young lady did amazingly great. All the kids did super in learning all about field day. And that's Dave, K6WDE, doing the coaching to keep everything going and all of the stations on the air. Third-party traffic always welcome for field day. And the excitement of hearing the station was a lot of fun, as well as logging contact. So it was good that we had both electronic as well as paper logging. And that's Tracy in the background. Look at that big smile on his face. We'll pull out his mic cord and his audio cord, and he'll still be happy. So field day is fun. And having too much fun were these kids twisting the dials and making all sorts of great contacts. So field day, quite a good opportunity for the MTARA, and that this was their very first one. And that's Ernie, KK6UIC, at the radio, having a great time. And, you know, kids make great electronic loggers. Okay, it's time for lunch. And they had it all in an area where no deer or anything else would come and gobble up their food. They had tents, they had shade, and, of course, plenty of water up at 5,000 feet. You got to drink tons of water. And that's really doing it up nice to have this kind of operation. There's D again, N6DEE, and Gale, KM6BGN, and they're calling CQ Field Day. And either they came and pounced, or those that heard them pounced on their signals. So congratulations to the Mountaintop Amateur Radio Association for making Field Day happen up in the hills of Southern California, or I should say the mountains of Southern California. And again, thanks to our publisher and the W5YI group, for those Field Day groups and Elmers and instructors, we've got free band charts. They're hot off the press. All you have to do is send me 15 first-class stamps and a mailing label that will go on a priority mail to you. And I can get you a good amount of these band charts absolutely free. And these are the brand new ones. No, they don't have the new low frequencies on them yet because we're not allowed yet on the low frequencies. But nonetheless, they're great. Well, I hear the Hawaii beacon coming in the background again. This is day number 4 of the 2,500-mile path between here and Hawaii on Tropo. And next week, we'll tell you all about the Central States VHF conference coming up in a little over a month and a half from now here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So back to probably Bob to take it away. Bob?
Okie dokie. I'm getting all set up, but I have to be worried about high voltage, right? We have to take care of it. So while I'm getting all of my wires together, let's go visit Don, because Don, you got something about books, right?
Well, yeah, books are in the name, but it's more like doing the books. It's FreshBooks. I want to tell you about FreshBooks. FreshBooks' all-new version of their cloud accounting software will make running your business easy, fast, and secure. The FreshBooks dashboard gives you quick access to your spending, outstanding balances, total profit, accounting reports like sales tax summary, profit and loss. And, of course, if you run any kind of a business, you need to keep on top of all of that. New time tracking features make it easy to bill for time by client and by specific projects. Send professional-looking invoices online, get paid an average of 11 days faster, and who doesn't like that? And with FreshBooks payments, your customer can pay straight from their invoice, see what invoices have been sent, have been viewed, and paid, as well as outstanding invoice totals. No more of that. No, we never got that. Well, I see here it says you looked at that on the 23rd at 2:57 p.m. there, Clark. What can you say about that? Send automatic payment reminders, set automatic late fees, stay connected to your clients, keep tabs on your business no matter where you are. With the FreshBooks app, you can snap a photo of your receipt or connect your bank account and credit card to automatically import expenses daily. And FreshBooks integrates with some of the apps you already use, and some you'll be glad you found out about, like Stripe, Shopify, Gusto, Acuity Scheduling, and more. And FreshBooks is adding new features and improvements to their platform on a weekly basis. You can now create and send estimates to your clients from the FreshBooks iOS app on your Apple device. Send invoices to multiple people in an organization by adding them as secondary contacts. Get a detailed overview of client payments with the new payments collected reports. You see the trend here? What it is you're getting all of your accounting stuff under one umbrella. Keeps everything nice and straight. FreshBooks. It's no wonder they were included in the Forbes Small Giants list for 2017. Try FreshBooks and try it free for 30 days at freshbooks.com/hamnation. Enter hamnation in the How Did You Hear About Us section. And FreshBooks, thank you so much for your support of Ham Nation. Now, if you've got a small business, you got to try FreshBooks. And you also got to try your hand at the Pine Board Project. Right, Bob?
Well, there's a whole bunch of people doing it, I got to tell you. And I really appreciate it. But tonight's going to be a Lollapalooza. I've worked all week on this thing. I want to try to finalize a few things, and so tonight's the night to help you all. We're going to go through really quickly because I know a lot of you already have the power supply built, and I just want to run through it because this will be on the replay. You know that Brian is putting up just these clips, so you won't have to run through the whole show, and you can go to heilsound.com, HEILSOUND, heilsound.com, and you'll see all of these great graphics that Gene has done, W4IQN. So there's the power supply layout, and we've had good luck with people building it. There's the parts list, and that'll all be on the chart afterwards. But then we moved on to the preamp. Well, I've been talking to Richard. I showed you a picture of Richard a while ago in the morning with it, and we both determined that we needed some equalization. And so I did that. Nice graphic here. Now, there are some that said, I don't want to build it with EQ. Okay, if you don't want to build the preamp with EQ, there's what you do. Keep in mind that capacitor right there, because I know we're going to maybe come back and talk to that in a minute, and we're going to do that by adding only 5 parts, and what we've done is give it a bass and treble control, and it worked really good. But I discovered this week that we can do it better. You know, hams, we always want to do something better, right? And in talking with the guys in the morning net, what I came up with was to add one more capacitor and a switch. And this switch is a bright switch. And that comes in my background from building guitar preamplifiers. And that's what we have, is a bright switch. I thought, why not do that, dummy? So I did. I know I keep changing it on you guys and gals, but this is it. How do I know it's it? Well, let's fire it up. What I've done here is I've got it all hooked up. What you're about to listen to is the preamplifier, and we're going to plug it straight into the mixer. So we're not using speakers or anything. You're going to actually hear the amplifier. So let's see if I can let this hook up. Hang on. We'll get rid of that. And let's see if we can let you hear this. Okay. How's the level? Is it looking good there? I think it is. You might want to tell me if it's okay, Brian. Does it sound all right to you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Now, oh, okay,
good.
Here we go. But that's just the preamp. Now, here comes the good stuff. I'm going to bring on some bass. So if you want to be nice and big and bassy, you can do that. And I think what I'll do, make you a little seasick here, I think what I'll do is I'll show you what I'm doing while I do it. And that's all nice and good. But if you're in a noisy condition, and especially on AM, you need to cut through the noise. So I'm going to take out a little bass, and I'm going to increase the treble. And notice how much easier it is to understand what I'm saying. I have not changed the level. Why did it sound louder to you? Because your ears are more sensitive right there in that frequency range. If we go back to flat, it sounds nice. But here, we could have a whole session, and I think we're going to have to do that again one of these days, on how our ears work and why we need equalization in ham radio. Bring that treble back up where your ears are most sensitive. But then I said, that's not enough. So I added those parts. Remember, a switch and a 0.001. And it's a bright switch. Right now, we are on what I call the flat position. Listen to what happens when I take out the 0.01 and switch in the 001. It's like, oh my goodness. I didn't change the level. I changed the frequency response. Look how much better you can understand. No, it's not pretty sounding, but it cuts through. We'll take it back. There it is, a little more flat, and there it is flat. And it's wonderful. Now, you got to think about this for a minute. We're doing all of this with just about 10 parts in a tube. Is that amazing? That's all you're listening to. Right back there, my microphone cable is plugged in. You can see the jack on the input. The output is running over to the mixer, but that's all we're doing right there. Yes, we had to have the power supply to give us the 150 volts. And be careful, be careful. Got to be careful where you put your fingers. But I am so happy because this has become really super duper, gang. Much better than I really figured we could achieve. And Richard and all the guys that are listening to us in the morning are just equally amazed. There, we'll do it again. There's the treble. We're going to roll off all the bass. But when we bring on that bright switch, oh, buddy, it just slices through. Go back to flat. It still sounds great. I mean, you're able to understand okay, but this is the answer. And that's why the DX crowd loves my elements, because a lot of our elements has that particular curve is in a lot of the Heil microphones. Most other microphones, especially the matching ones, that's what they do. But they don't understand. There's a lot to say about your ears, and I learned it as a a young guy from Paul Klipsch would bring up that treble. That's good, but let's do this special little bright switch. Oh, buddy, it's in your face. And again, I'm not changing level. What's changing are your ears, because I'm bringing the frequency of about 22 to 2800 up by about 8 dB. If I take it out of there, it's still, in fact, it might be a little louder on the meter or show more output, but it isn't the kind of equalization we need. This is in your Pine Board. And there's who knows, you could take that and plug it into your transmitter. Gosh knows where this is going to go, group. I'm really thrilled. I'm really thrilled. And I'm thrilled because all of you can build this, and you can build it really easy. That's the good part. I'm going to just stay on this microphone. Here's the layout of, by the way, I'll do that in a minute. What you're looking at here, everything else, throw it away. Really. This is the one you want to build. And again, if you've already built the other one, no big deal. You just have to add that switch. And that's what I did this week. I was just kind of unhappy. It was okay, but it wasn't sensational. I just added that switch and that capacitor 001. Now, if you don't want any of this, you can see the red line. All you have to do is to take this out and put an 01 from that plate to the top of your level control, and you won't have any EQ. Here is what you're going to do at the bottom of the socket. You know how we built things on the bottom of the sockets first? Well, there you are. And that's the whole layout, as Gene so nicely done for us, W4IQN. Nice drawing. And you'll be able to grab some shots of that. And that's what you want to do. That's going to be the bottom of your tube socket. And then when you get it all together, this will be what happens. This is the whole shebang. And again, it's so easily done. The in and out, the switch. This is what we added right here. That switch and that magic 001. And I mean, I was all over this in the values. I had smaller, bigger, so on. 001 is the magic right there. And the 01 is the flat response. But that's the entire preamp. Here are the parts for all of it, and this will be all of these will be on the website. I think, in fact, Michelle might already have put them up there. And these are all of the parts for the preamp with the switch for the bright, and we'll be rocking and rolling. And there's one other thing that I need to show you. We're going to start next week. I know you're all like, welcome. You're not doing the transmitter. Well, I'm not doing the transmitter yet because I wanted to finish this. I knew that I wasn't ready. By the way, I'm using the microphone in that preamp. Is that cool or what? One tube preamp. We don't need no stupid mixer. In fact, I'm really bypassing the mixer. I'm going right into the line input, which doesn't go through the mixer and then into the USB. Here's what I want to tell you. I am so thrilled. First of all, I told you last week, we ham radio operators have got to be honored about this, because it's not just a Pine Board project, but Antique Electronic Supply has now put the Pine Board project, the ham radio project, in their catalog. So when you go to their website, you can look up the Pine Board project or call them, and that's the part list that I showed you that you'll be able to get from them. I'm really, really happy about that. But we have one problem. We didn't have a coil. Now, we're going to build 3 coils, and we're actually going to build one. Gene's got a really cool way of building one. Richard's got another way of building one, and we're going to homebrew some coils. I think it's necessary for you to do this. Very simple. But for those of you that want to do it kind of easy, you are going to be able to do it thanks to MFJ. They have coil stock for their 811 transmitter that you can buy. It's a big, long, about a foot-long deal. But now they are putting it, we only need 41 turns. So they are so politely wonderful. Thank you so much, Martin Jew and Richard and all of you down there, Phyllis, so on. They have the coil cut for the Pine Board in their catalog, and it's a number 4040811-1. And that is now in their catalog for the Pine Board Project. So we're making a lot of inroad in a lot of places because there's so much going on here. The transmitter is not going to be a 12AU7. It's going to be a 6V6 and a 6AG7. Why? We're doing that because the 12AU7 was actually just it was a modulated oscillator, and this is a circuit that's been around for a while, and Richard enhanced it a little bit, and we're very excited about it. It really works nice, and we'll be having some little changes down the way. One of the biggest ones is at the end we're going to build a little amplifier. I'm going to do this for you very quickly. Richard's going to go crazy. I told him I wouldn't do this. I'm going to show you the transmitter. There it is. Next week, we start it. So get ready. 6V6, 6AG7. It's band switching. You'll notice I have two crystals. One of them's not active. And it's band switching 75 and 40 meters, and it works really good. And now we have really super duper audio. So just so you know, I just want you to know there's a lot going on behind the scenes here, and I'm really happy. So thanks for putting up with me. And I guess I'll turn off my 12AX7 and we'll see what happens. Don, what do you think? Does it sound okay to you? Go ahead.
It sounds great, and I really like the bright switch. It's amazing how that it cuts right through. Just amazing. Amazing what you can do with just a handful of old, obsolete parts from a junk drawer. Isn't that amazing? Just amazing. And thanks to MFJ, that's great that's going to be in their catalog. You got to have an MFJ catalog. Another catalog you need to have is this one right here, DX Engineering, because they've got some news. The big news at DX Engineering is that they are now the exclusive North American distributor of soda beams, soda beam antenna products, including the revolutionary new Whisper Light antenna performance analysis system. Soda beams, that's based in the UK. Soda Beams has been a leader in antenna testing technology, and now North American operators, that's you and me and Gordo and George and everybody, can order their products, the Soda Beam products, the UK products, through DX Engineering. That eliminates the cumbersome international shipping and long delays. DX Engineering is going to carry several Soda Beam products, including the popular Whisper Light antenna performance analysis system. And you spell that WSPR, and you know what that stands for, the weak signal propagation reporting. The Whisper Light is the specialized test beacon, uses the Whisper technology to transmit a worldwide network of receiving stations. It works with Soda Beam's proprietary software to give you real-time feedback on your station's antenna performance. Whisper Light displays the transmit signal's geographical range, as well as receive power on an easy-to-read propagation map. Whisper Light is entirely self-contained, powered by a micro USB port, has a single SMA connector output, can be easily adapted with optional PL259 or BNC adapter cables, so you can put your big antenna on there. Covers 20 and 30 meter bands. It has an adjustable output from 5 to 200 milliwatts, and the Whisper Light system requires the PC running the Soda Beam's DX Explorer software. Every Whisper Light product comes with a free 1-year subscription to DX Explorer Premium, Whisper Light's web-based reporting dashboard. To learn more, type the letters WSPR into the search box at dxengineering.com. If you want to add 160, 80, and 40 meter capabilities to the Whisper Light system, you can do that, because DX Engineering also carries Soda Beam's optional low-pass filter kit. It's a simple-to-build kit Yes, you get to build it. It's a simple-to-build kit. Features selectable low-pass filters for 7, 3.7, and 1.8 megahertz. Pre-wired coax tail permits easy integration to the Whisper Lite transmitter. I want you to go to dxengineering.com and check all of this out. And you know DX Engineering ships faster than anybody else in the industry. Most orders placed at by 10 p.m. Eastern Time are shipped the same day. With proven products and expert advice, DX Engineering helps you shrink the globe. Request your catalog, shop online 24/7, 365 at dxengineering.com/hamnation. dxengineering.com/hamnation. Thanks so much for helping us out here on Ham Nation with all of your support. George, what have you got going on? We've got smoke and solder. Oh, you've got a video from our friend K7AGE, huh? I can't wait to see this. This is going to be good.
That's a great catalog there. I've got a couple of things right here we used at Field Day this year. I mentioned them earlier. I'd say something about Field Day. I believe I talked about these last week. Val had one too. Now, this is a low band systems bandpass filter. This one is for 40 meters right here. There's a variety of different ones available. We bought some of these for Field Day this year because there were 4 of us operating. We've had a little problem splattering into each other in the past. Not bad, but some. Of course, everybody's on a different band, but you can still get a little splatter if your antennas are not that far apart. So we got them for all the bands that we plan on working. And these aren't expensive, around $120 or so per band, and then they'll handle 200 watts. We got to use them for Field Day, and boy, did they make a difference. We didn't hear anybody splattering on anybody this year. I did hear one of the other stations when they'd hit their auto tuner every now and then, a little racket in the background, but normal operation, never a hint that there was anybody anywhere near us on the bands. So they really worked out good. Low band systems, bandpass filters. They're sold to be used with a multiplexer, but we used them alone, one on each transceiver. Really worked great. So might want to check that out if you had some splatter problems on your Field Day this year when you were operating in close proximity to other stations. We didn't get to go out in the field this year. Every year we like to go camp out, go back in the woods, take the generators out, pitch the tents, and just go primitive with it. But this year, due to the tropical storm moving through, we couldn't do that because the ground was just too wet. So we ended up operating from the shack/studio here, and we had plenty of room for everybody to spread out in here. We cranked up the generators outside and operated all the gear off of them. So that allowed us to run as 4E for emergency power, and there were 4 transmitters simultaneously operating. It worked good. We were a little more comfortable because it's easier to air condition a building than it is to air condition a tent. But and we still had fun. We made more contacts than we'd ever done on Field Day before, but there was a lot less setup to do, and we had a great time. We'll be back out in the woods, though, all things allowing next year. But at least we managed to get on, operate Field Day, and have fun. And our antennas were a little closer this year, so these things really worked out great. Well, now we've got a video that Randy K7AGE sent us this past week. It's a little add-on accessory that would probably work real good on the Pine Board project.
Hi, Randy K7AGE. I thought I would build up a power output bridge based on the design from Don Cantrell, ND6T, from his BitX Hex blog page. He has a lot of modifications for the BitX. And he built his on a little printed circuit board to mount right on the back of his BitX 40 case, and it has a pass-through for the RF connector along with a couple toroids. And he used the processor on the Radrino board to actually measure the voltage to give him a relative output. So if you'd like to build it that way, you can go to his website and find information about how he did that. So this is a real common SWR meter schematic, although it's not showing the metering circuitry, just the bridge part. And it's based around two toroidal transformers with 1 turn on one side and 10 turns on the other side. So with a toroid, 1 turn is just the wire passing through the core. It doesn't come back around a second time. So the RF passes through this transformer through the 1 turn tap and goes out to the antenna. So this is sensing the current on the line. The voltage is sensed with this second transformer using the 10 turn side. And then with the 1 turn side, on each side of that pass through of the core, we have the 2 detectors to detect voltage for the forward path of the RF going through, and also voltage for the reverse pass. So if you just want to build a relative output meter, you can just use the forward. If you want to build an SWR meter, you look at both and calibrate, and then they scale on the meter. Or you could even use a computer, measure the 2 voltages, and then calculate the SWR. And if you'd really like to know how this circuit works, I would recommend going and watching Alan's video, W2AEW, and he'll explain and show you with an oscilloscope how this all works. Okay, here's the parts list for the meter. I need 2 50 ohm resistors. Well, I didn't have any 50 ohm resistors in my junk box, but I do have 100 ohm resistors. And if you take 2 100 ohm resistors and connect them in parallel, you'll have 50 ohms. So there's 4 100 ohm resistors for that. Then I need 2 220 k ohm resistors, red, yellows. Next thing I need is 2.1 microfarad little disc ceramic capacitors. They're labeled 104. And then for the diodes, you can use either 1N34A diodes, which I only have 2 of those left, so I'm not going to use those. But I have a whole bunch of the 1N5711s left over from a previous project, so I have my diodes. And then the toroidal cores, I have I bought a bag of 25 of the FT37-43 cores from Kits and Parts. They have a lot of this type of material, a lot of toroids and all different diameters and different mixtures of the ferrite. So I have a bag of 25 of those, so I'm all set. And I also bought 10 feet of number 24 enameled magnet wire to wind the toroids with. So I'm going to build my meter old school style using a 7-lug soldering terminal strip. I've got it drawn out. Let's see how I'm going to put the parts on here. So here's basically how I'm going to try and build this. We see how it works out. Basically, the 2 toroids are supported using their 10-turn windings of the transformer. The lugs on the end I will use for ground, and I will interconnect those even though I don't show them on here. The 1 turn from the antenna will be on this lug, and it'll just pass through. The 1 turn here comes off the 10 turn over here and passes through. And then the diodes and the resistors will be on these other lugs connected typically to ground. And this lug here will be the reverse output, and this lug here will be the forward output. So that's hopefully what it's going to look like. Okay, I'm going to wind the toroid. I've cut off about 8 inches of the wire, and I have this scribe here, and I've just passed the core down over the top of the scribe, so that'll help hold it in place. So basically I'm going to run the wire up through the bottom, and I'm going to leave about 1 inch or so, and then bend it down. And the first few are kind of hard to get going because everything's kind of loose. But I'm going to feed the wire up through the core. So just passing the wire through was the first turn. Every time the wire goes through the core, it counts as one turn. So now I have 2 turns. And pull that tight. And now I'm going to run the next turn through. And you don't want it to overlap. Never want to overlap these when you're doing that. So that's the third. So, a lot of people just say, oh, I got to wind a toroid. It's so hard. Well, it just takes a little bit of time. Just do it slowly, and you'll be all right. So let's turn 4. And let's just see how that looks on the inside. So that's how it's looking so far. I think that'll be fine. And just pull that tight. Bring the wire around. You also don't want to get any kinks in the wire. So I just keep working at this. 10 turns is not a real complicated. Let me just check my count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I pull that tight. Turn it around. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and one last pass through. Will be 10. Move this out of the way, and just want to now kind of spread the turns around, double check that nothing's overlapping, and there is my 10 turns. So it's a little bit of work to get the insulation off of the enameled wire. There's several different ways to do it. You can, scrape it with an X-Acto knife, which is probably what I'll end up doing. Or if you have some real fine sandpaper, you can sand it off. And if you bought the fancy wire, you can melt the enameled insulation off, but you just can't solder it the way it is. So you need to scrape this down to clear copper. But I'll wait and do that when I get ready to solder it onto the terminal strip. Well, I wound my second toroid, but I think that's all we have time for right now. So in the next video, I will start soldering everything onto the terminal strip. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching, Randy, K7AGE.
Okay, Randy, looks like you're having a lot of fun there. But I'm sure, well, if you enjoy winding toroids as much as I do, you're glad to have that part behind you now. But yeah, we're looking forward to seeing how that turns out. Looks like a very neat project, and that came from a very good series of videos too. There, I've watched a lot of his stuff, and I believe his name is Alan. Is that who we were talking about? Some really good test equipment videos there, and how to check all kinds of things. Well, I asked a question last week. What do the letters FEC mean as they relate to digital operation? Is it forward error correction, first error correction, fatal error correction, or final error correction? And I got an answer here from Sean Crawford, WA8MXJ. And he said, George, the answer is forward error correction. And since I read this question from Gordo's extra class study manual here, with all these questions flagged out, I'm going to ask Gordo, because I know he's here. Gordo, was Sean right? Is it forward error correction?
It is forward error correction. Yep, that's correct.
So what are we going to send him?
Well, he's going to get one of our books free of charge, and he's probably an extra now, so he can give it to a friend. Just tell me which book you want, and it's on its way from the publisher, W5YI Group.
Okay, thanks for that, Gordo. Once again, a great series of books there. If you're studying for your first amateur radio ticket with a technician, or you're upgrading to general or extra, you want one of Gordo's books here from W5YI. Also, if you've already got your extra, you might want to look into getting your general radio operator's license. That's another one of the books. That's the next progression there. It's a lot like the extra, but still a little different because it covers more areas. Well, I got another question for next week, and this one's sort of related to what Bob talked about tonight. The preamp for the Pine Board project there, he used a 12AX7 tube. I want to know who made or developed that first 12AX7, what company, and what year about was it released for sale? If you think you know the answer to that, send it to me, hamnationcontest@gmail.com, and we're going to send you one of these nice DX Engineering sport bags. It's too big to show on camera right here, but, it's the perfect bag for packing your field day gear in and your clothes if you do get to leave the shack for field day or any other event. I use this thing all the time. Great bag here, heavy-duty canvas. Thanks, DX Engineering, for giving us that to give away to one of our listeners there. Who is going to figure out who made that first 12AX7 tube and what year did they do it? Well, with that, I think it's time we move on and find out what's going on in the wide, wide world of amateur radio Newsline. Here's Don.
There's all kinds of stuff going on, but first I want to mention, of course, you're hearing amateur radio. You hear amateur radio Newsline as well as the audio from Ham Nation on the big shortwave WTWW at 5085, 9930, and 12.105, I believe, is the other frequency. So if you're listening to us on WTWW now, good deal. There we go. Yep. See, look, there I am. Look at that. That's my actual voice making actual modulation on the actual monitor there at George's actual station in a very matter-of-factual way. Well, hey, we're not just on WTWW tonight. He's gracious enough to lend me the microphone on the second Tuesday of the month. I get on there and hang out with Ted. But I did field day, but not on amateur radio. I did field day on WTWW at 9930. And Ted had his big field day show where field day participants could actually call in and tell us what was going on. I spent a couple of hours talking to people from all over the world. In fact, I got a text from Ted, and he says they got correspondence from a large ham group listening in China, also folks in the UK and Germany and South America. So I did field day on WTWW. Very, very cool. And, of course, they carry Ham Nation, and they carry Amateur Radio Newsline. So why don't we go ahead and grab the news from Amateur Radio Newsline, shall we? From Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2069, these are the Ham Nation headlines for Wednesday, June 28th, 2017. It's just the first month of the Atlantic hurricane season. Last week saw Tropical Storm Cindy go ashore along the Texas-Louisiana border with heavy rainfall, stretching as far east as the Florida Panhandle and flash flooding as far inland as Tennessee. Those living along the eastern seaboard and Gulf Coast know all too well about tropical weather. For the rest of you, here's a little background on hurricane season.
June the 1st marked the official start of the 2017 hurricane season, which continues through November the 30th. In an average season, 12 named tropical cyclones should be expected, with 6 of these reaching hurricane intensity, with 3 developing into major hurricanes. The outlook is a general guide to the expected overall activity during the upcoming hurricane season. It is not a seasonal hurricane landfall forecast, nor does it predict levels of activity for any particular location. The official NOAA 2017 hurricane season outlook indicates a 45% probability of an above normal season. The outlook calls for between 11 and 17 named storms. This already includes preseason Tropical Storm Arlene, which occurred in April. Of these named storms, between 5 and 9 of them could reach hurricane intensity, with between 2 and 4 of these becoming major hurricanes. FEMA is encouraging residents and businesses to prepare by understanding their risk, planning for the entire family, and downloading the FEMA app. The app contains important information on what to do before and after hurricanes. The app also allows users to receive weather alerts from NOAA's National Weather Service, including life-saving safety tips. To learn more, go to www.hurricanes.gov.
That was Phil Thomas, W8RMJ of Amateur News Weekly. Thanks, Phil. Oh, and just an FYI, the next name on the list is Don.
I'm just saying. There's big excitement in Pinson, Alabama right now as Pinson Valley High School prepares to reach for the stars.
Pinson Valley High School in Alabama has become one of 13 educational facilities in the U.S. to be chosen for the Amateur Radio on the International Space Station program. What happens next? The school needs to submit its proposal and equipment plan for ARIS review and demonstrate that the school can be available at those moments between next January and June when NASA can arrange for amateur radio contact opportunities with one of the astronauts on board. English teacher Jennifer Moore, who is leading the faculty team behind the project, said the experience is designed to make the sciences real to students in a meaningful way and encourage careers in related fields of technology, engineering, and mathematics. The school's partners in the space station venture will include the Southern Museum of Flight, the U.S. Space and Rocket Center, and the Birmingham Amateur Radio Club's Amateur Radio Advancement Group. The excitement is real elsewhere, too. Students and teachers are doing the same in a dozen other schools this year, including Mill Springs Academy in Alpharetta, Georgia, Freeport Public Schools in Freeport, New York, and Bellefonte Area Middle School in Bellefonte, Pennsylvania. This is one effective way of getting students to aim high. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Neil Rapp, WB9VPG.
For the rest of this week's Amateur Radio News, please listen to the full Amateur Radio Newsline report online, on a repeater near you, or on shortwave radio station WTWW at 9930 and 5085 kilohertz. And that's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline, your independent source for amateur radio news for 4 decades and counting at www.arnewsline.org. With Phil Thomas, W8RMJ, Neil Rapp, WB9VPG, Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team across the globe. I'm Don Wilbanks, AE5DW. 7-3. We'll see you next time here on Ham Nation.
All right, very good. No solar weather tonight. Dr. Scove has had a very, very busy week. So let me tell you about some on-the-air events coming up. Of course, we're done now with Ham Nation 300, and we just had Field Day. But there are some very cool special event stations coming up this weekend. The first one I want to tell you about, it is a special event for the 70th anniversary of the Roswell UFO happening. Yeah, very cool. Pecos Valley Amateur Radio Club, W5ZU. They will be on the air this weekend starting July 1st. I believe it's July 1st through the 4th. You're seeing their website right there on 14245 from 9 to 5 Mountain Daylight Time. That is when the Roswell Museum, the UFO Museum, is open, and they'll be doing it from in there. So check out the Pecos Valley Amateur Radio Club. That's PecosValleyARC.com to find out that. And, of course, something else that is huge for July 4th weekend is the 13 Colonies special event. That is going on this weekend as well, going all week, as a matter of fact, July 1st through the 6th. Extremely popular. Extremely popular. And everything you need to know is right there at 13colonies.net. Info on certificates, log sheets, the exchange. And if you click on the log sheets, it even tells you, it gives you an online form generator. 13 Colonies special event log form generator. If you click on that blue link just above there, Brian, scroll back up where it says 13 Colonies special event log form generator. Click on that. There is an online form that you can fill out and do right there online. They have thought of just about everything. So 13colonies.net for this very, very popular special event. Go check it out and mention that you heard about it on Ham Nation. So there you go. That's going to be a fun weekend. July 4th weekend. Of course, July 4th is on a Tuesday. If you're lucky like me, you've got Monday and Tuesday off. So I'm looking forward to some good ham radio special event chasing this weekend. Good stuff. And I got an ICOM radio sitting right there. That's an IC 7600, Clark. It's top of the line. Well, not quite top of the line, but it's top of the line for me, and I love it. And you can get your own ICOM radio. How? Well, I don't know. Check out ICOM.
Let ICOM help you make the most contacts or practice for emergency situations. Don't forget to bring along the perfect field day companion, the IC 7300. Ideal for the ham on the go, it's a high-performance, innovative HF transceiver with a compact design. RF direct sampling, 15 discrete bandpass filters, large 4.3-inch color touchscreen, real-time spectrum scope, SD memory card slot, and more. Hear and see a wide variety of signals with the R8600, ICOM's new high-performance software-defined receiver. An industry first for desktop wideband receivers, the R8600 provides a high-resolution, real-time spectrum scope with a waterfall, 4.3-inch high-resolution color display with touchscreen features, SD card slot for receive log, decode log, and voice recording, and it scans up to 100 channels per second in memory scan mode. The ICOM America Hams to Japan sweepstakes is underway. Enter today for a chance to win an ICOM radio or even an unforgettable experience to attend the 2017 Tokyo Ham Fair. Make sure you come back and enter each week to be eligible for each radio drawing. And visit icomamerica.com/amateur for more information on this and all the ICOM radios. You can tune in and enter to win. After each episode of Ham Nation, go to icomamerica.com/hamnation, register to win some great swag prizes like t-shirts and hats, and while you're there, learn how you could win in the monthly grand prize drawing for a new radio. And for June, that new radio is going to be the ICOM IC718 HF transceiver, superior basic performance, DSP noise reduction, DSP automatic notch filter, and simple operation. Great entry-level HF rig, the ICOM 718. icomamerica.com/hamnation. Go there and register. This is your last chance to register this month. Somebody's going to win it. Why shouldn't it be you? While you're there, also check out the Hams to Japan contest. ICOM is going to give some lucky ham tickets to the Tokyo Ham Fair this year. You definitely want to get in on that one, too. Doesn't cost anything. Just a few minutes of your time to go to icomamerica.com and register. Thanks, ICOM, for sponsoring Ham Nation. Sign up. Good luck, and don't forget to follow ICOM America, Inc. on Facebook and Twitter. And now I believe we've got Dale back with us tonight with some, I don't know what you got, Dale. Tell us.
Hey, we've got field. It's to be back. And tonight is all about field day, from the Sierra foothills in California to southern Colorado to Florida. We've got you covered. And let's start in Nyack, California, in the Blue Canyon area. Here's the club's field day video edited by Mike Perry, KK6GLP.
Get it out of up there where all the
Okay, double.
We'll create one big giant pit.
Fire in the hole!
Has a complete set of filters because the choice of the operator. So included in
Oh, I'm sorry. You will be pretty.
Whiskey 6 Delta Oscar Juliet. This is Whiskey 6 Echo Kilo. We are 4 Alpha Sierra Victor. 4 Alpha Sierra Victor. QSL?
So for that many miles, I mean, you put.
It's early.
CQ. Whiskey 6 Echo Kilo.
We copy 1 Bravo. May I have your section? Whiskey 6 Echo Kilo. Whiskey 6 Echo Kilo.
Sure, the best shore-based chow hall is like one that.
Green, it was code, and if it was blue, it was digital. No one's doing blue at Alpha.
Kilo 6 Uniform Delta Alpha.
CQ Field Day, Kilo 6 Uniform Delta Alpha.
4 Alpha.
Sierra Victor.
Sierra Victor. That's correct.
It's like a
Bob
different pair
likes
of
his
shoes.
key. I like mine.
I do.
It would be like 10 watts. Now when you click it into high, then you're full.
Yeah, excuse me, US.
US, okay.
20-meter band. I mean, that's what we did in Hawaii. Right. Here, what we have.
Now, I don't think.
Is that frozen water US? So what do we got here?
Those are some expired
Pretzels.
What were you having done?
Roger that. We are 4 Alpha Sierra Victor.
Thank you, Biz, too, shouldn't I?
Who's?
This
is the 6 Echo Kilo. On in the tree.
15. Watch your fingers. Just like that. Good team.
So thanks, Mike, for that great editing. To Bob, K6UDA, he worked the future hams at the Gordo station. And to Carl, WF6J, who's been doing field days since 1957 and is the club's public information officer. He sent us the link. We'll travel now to southern Colorado and the field day story sent to us by Steve. It's all about the field day.
What is your name?
Myron.
What is your call sign?
Whiskey Victor Zero Hotel.
What are we doing today?
We are setting up for Field Day 2017 in the South Park area of Colorado by Jefferson, Colorado, and the Michigan Hill Housing Establishment, kind of these 1 or 2 acre plots around here.
How would you describe the weather?
Typical Colorado. We got a little chill in the morning, a little bit of breeze, and some really good sun this afternoon. We'll be okay.
So, tell me about our antenna setup.
Well, our antenna setup went better than I thought, Steve. We have a 135-foot length piece of wire and a 200 ohm conventional transformer, 9% offset from one end, so that makes it about 13 feet on the short end and about 122 feet on the long end. We put up 2 31 jackite poles at midsection and on the end, and we have a 23-footer on the deck pole here, but the deck is up about 15 feet, so we're probably in line with the 31-footers. And on the tag end over here, we've got about a 20-footer. And so the noise isn't too bad for during the day. We've got about an S3 noise level on 20 meters, which will be fine. Tell you the truth, we probably could have had the same or even higher in some other locations, so we'll find out.
Our primary concern with our setup, as is.
As is, we're going to get cold. So we might not run this coax through the door and operate off the kitchen table if it gets too cold tonight.
Don't tell them that. We'll cut that out of the video.
Okay.
The morning of field day, we double-checked our solar panel, the battery, to make sure everything was in good working order. We took the time to copy the W1AW QST. We enjoyed the sights one last time before the competition began. We also went to visit a neighboring group of hams putting on a field day in South Park. They were truly roughing it.
How are you feeling? Pretty good, you? Pretty good. I'd like our run rate to be a little higher.
This is the start of the contest. This is 20 meters, where 20 meters from Colorado at noon is working guys once every hour.
We are meeting that goal.
There. CQ. CQ. Calling CQ.
It's the end of hour 2. How are you feeling?
Oh, pretty good, I guess. The usual
beginning of contest hiccups and bumps, cables, got to restart the computer, got to get everything set, and it's like, oh, I'm on 1A, it should be 1B. Oops. Oh well. We're here making cues, that's all that matters.
Yeah, from my perspective, so we went to search and pounce for a little bit, doubled our contact number in half the time, so that's exciting. But we're still at 30 contacts after 2 hours, and we need about 480 more to have a chance to win. So we'll see. Hour 3.
Another dupe.
Another dupe.
Whiskey Victor 0 Hotel. Whiskey Victor 0 Hotel.
To be sure, it wasn't all CW from our side. Evening came, and some of us were more die-hard than others.
Well, this is the morning after look. CQ.
Ding, 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 ding.
It's over?
350.
Ooh, not bad. You guys were feeling kind of like, whoa.
Here's what?
I don't know. That's better than I thought you were going to do.
It's way better than I thought we were going to do.
Ta-da!
That's what happens when you stay up all night.
Oh, you can be a winner.
Well, you can be tired winner.
Field day can involve hours of planning, easy neck models, studying resonance points, and understanding how the antenna takes power. Field Day 2017 was full of firsts. I made a phone contact, and I'm glad there's no video. Maybe next year we'll do some digital. We hope you enjoyed your field day and take every opportunity to get out and get on the air. 7-3 from KF5RY and Whiskey Victor 0 Hotel. 1 Bravo in Colorado.
Thanks. Storytelling there. And one of the areas that help a club generate field day points is their public information initiatives. Don, who's K4EAE and the president of OPARC, sent us this news report, which aired Saturday on Jacksonville, Florida's 4 News.
We're in Clay County now. That's where the 2017 Amateur Radio Relay League Field Day took place today. It was held at Orange Park High School. The event demonstrated the science, service, and skill behind amateur ham radios. Radios allow people to talk to each other all around town and even in space without using phones or the internet. Local operators were on hand showing people what they do and how they help. Ham radio operators are important. They really are.
Especially when it comes to severe weather. Yeah. You know, that was the way we would always get live ground truth of what's happening out there with damage during storms.
Big help.
It's very important to the weather community and the hobbyists.
Well, thanks for the link, Don, and great coverage for ham radio there in the Jacksonville area. We'll close this week's look at Field Day 2017 with a salute to Field Day from Mike, KA2DUT. He's a 2-time Emmy Award-winning filmmaker. He's shooting from his 1970 Cessna A150K.
Roger, ready for 16 Mike. We're over station. Probably going to do a couple 360 to the right here for our next minute or so.
Number 16 Mike, that's approved as requested. Just let me know when you're ready to depart the area, and if I have anyone that's going to be nearby, I'll point them out to you.
You got it. Thank you so much. And if you know some Morse code, I'm going to do some Morse code just so get a brush up.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Nice. DQ, baby. Yeah. That's fabulous.
Well, thanks, Mike. We appreciate your salute to the field day operations on Long Island. You could tell that the field day crew did also. For tonight's field day coverage on our next episode, one more field day video from Fox Cities Amateur Radio Club. Dan N9 LVS captured their field day action, rain and all. And we have an interesting video describing sporadic E-propagation from our good friend Larry, WD0AKX up in Minnesota. In the meantime, send your video and shack photos to Ham Nation Videos at twit.tv. Time now to bring in Amanda from her studio in Canyon City, Colorado. Here's the latest from the chat room. Good evening, Amanda.
All right, thanks, Dale. Speaking of South Park, I was also in South Park this week doing field day. That's amazing. And it's just funny that Gordo says that they had to hydrate at 5,000 feet, whereas in South Park, Colorado, you're at 9,000 feet. So imagine that.
Oh, wow.
Not only are you drinking lots of water, you're putting on lots and lots and lots of sunscreen. Yeah, it's exhausting. And then you get really tired. So it's really hard to stay up all night. But we did it. We had a great time with Rocky Mountain Ham Radio Club. And we made, I can't say we did any stellar wins or anything, but we made some pretty good contacts and a lot of QSOs there. So, all right, let's move it along here. First of all, my good friend W2IMZ Jody, he says, is there an all know-how book about antennas? Gordo, what do you say? Is there a book that someone can purchase? Is there a place they can find that stuff?
Well, there's so much great information both on the internet as well as the American Radio Relay League's Antenna Handbook. That's my Bible along with the Radio Amateurs Handbook from the league. So the league, I think, probably has the most authoritative overall view of any kind of antenna that Amanda could ever think of.
Well, there you go. And when you question an antenna and what you think its value is going to be for you, always Google it. Find out what everyone else says. It might work for some people and not for you. Okay, next question, Bob. This one's going to be for you. KC8RLU asks that, actually he says he has a TS430S and would like to use his Electro Voice US607L dynamic mic with it. It has a 3-pin XLR on it. What would you do to recommend getting this working, or will it work at all?
Okay, Bob will relay that next week in that Bob is tuned off because he's working on a project, but you will get an answer for him from Bob next week.
Well, there you go. See, I took a snapshot of who was on the show, and did I actually pay attention? No, of course not. Okay, let's move on. All right, we've got George. Good, George, you know some balun stuff. Is there an advantage to a 1/12 wavelength series matching transformer over a toroidal core-based balun? You got that?
No, I have no idea what you just asked me. Maybe Gordo knows the answer.
Gordo?
No, I'm afraid I'm going to probably have to go with Ward Silver at the league to figure that one out. So, nope. I don't have that one on the tip of my feeble brain, Amanda.
Y'all just need to put on your thinking caps. No. And by the way, I'm wearing my Colorado Rockies, and this is a shoot at Brian over there at Twit, because I saw what he was wearing earlier this evening. Brian, show me your hat. Yeah, you might have swept us today. They swept the Rockies today, but a couple weeks ago we swept them. So hey,
yeah,
Rockies.
Turnabout is fair play. Yeah.
Okay. Another thing, this was kind of a good discussion in the chat room, you guys. I'll let you all kind of talk about it. What is actually considered QRP? Is it under 10 watts, 15 watts, anything under 100, or is it an actual 5 watts and under? Dale, I'll let you go first.
I've always understood it was 5 watts and under. And when you're doing special events and things, always try to listen for the QRP stations and give them a chance. When you hear them in there, you can get them in the clear if you've got good propagation, and that's really a good thing. So I think it's 5 watts here. I'll defer to the others also, though.
Okay, Gordo, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. 5 watts for HF, a regular station, but Whisper is down at 5 milliwatts, sometimes even less than that. So QRP is just a little bit of power, a fraction of what you would normally expect to roll.
Okay, and George, you concur?
Yeah, I will. There are some folks, though, that will tell you QRP is anything less than 500 watts, but they're not. So, yeah, 5 watts sounds good to me.
And I say go big or go home. So I am not a QRPer. I don't have time for that. Maybe on my HT, I might run low power, but that's about it. I know you guys don't chastise me in the chat room. I know we're on mountaintops here. We should be running low power all the time, but it's just a little bit more fun to beat the pileups. So, all right, let's see. What else do I got here? I don't have any announcements. Nobody told me they upgraded. I think everyone is just too burnt out from field day. So I know I am. I'm still catching up on sleep. And that's all I have, everyone. Other than that, happy 4th of July. I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend and a safe weekend. No blowing your hands off or anything else. Who's wrapping this up tonight?
I guess I will.
Okay. Oh. Wow.
Wow. Speaking of the 4th of July, yeah, we're having fireworks right around the corner from the house here. I'm not sure what night they're doing it. I'm going to have to find out. I don't know that it's the 4th. I think it's over the weekend. So I'll have to go check that out. They've got a balloon glow going, too, where they take all these hot air balloons, set them out in a field, and just tie them down and let them glow. You know, I need to hook up with one of these guys and see if they will let me drop a wire out the side there and maybe run a QRP rig in it. Well, thanks for being here tonight. Always fun to be back with you. Good to have Bob with us tonight, talking a little more about the Pine Board project there. And yeah, the I don't know what he would call it, pre-emphasis or what the correct term is. I think he called it brightness switch. Really made a big difference there. Doesn't sound as good, but boy, did it cut through. Well, before we go, Gordo, any final words from out on the left coast?
We have free band charts. All we need are 15 first-class stamps and a mailing label back to yourself, and I'll send them out priority mail. Brand new. Get your band charts from the W5YI group. Happy 4th of July. Wear safety glasses around anything that is sparking, and we'll see you next week.
Well, thanks, Gordo, and happy 4th to you, too. Dale, what about out in the flatlands?
I'll tell you what, I think one of the things, believe this weekend is the 13 Colonies event we've worked at the last several years, and it's always a lot of fun to work all 13 of the 13 original colonies and get that certificate from them. Also, they have one from the William Penn Station and another one over in Great Britain. Last year, I got all 15, so that was pretty neat. So do a Google for the 13 Colonies special event. I'm pretty sure that's this weekend and through the 4th that's going on. So you probably enjoy that if you see it. And that's about it, George. Good night to you and everyone.
Okay, Dale, that sounds good. Work 15 stations in the 13 Colonies event. I didn't actually catch the extra 2 there, but yeah, that sounds like a good opportunity to get on the bands a little bit. Amanda, what about up in the mountains?
I do. I have a couple of things. Jeff, come here. Look in the camera. See this eye?
Yeah?
This eye. This
oh,
eye.
Wow.
Did you do that?
I wish. This is your safety spokesperson.
Thank you.
That's what happens when you don't wear safety glasses. Please, you guys, wear your safety glasses.
Absolutely.
Generator door, actually. That was a
generator door got him.
Door.
And
wow.
But accidents happen, and that was field day. So yes, I wish I could take credit for that. Anyhow, all right, let's move on. I forgot to mention the nets. 7192, 14268, 14 Charlie, do drop in, and TAC 311. You guys don't miss them. That's all I have. Back to you, George.
Okay. Thanks, Amanda. And Condolences there, Jeff. Yeah, the generator door, that's a good story there. That'll work.
It does work.
Yeah. Oh, the generator did work. Okay. Well, thanks for being here, everyone. We'll see you back next week at the same time. 7-3.